Hi everybody, this is Bob from Buckeye Sports Center. Today I'm really excited to talk to you about the 20-foot Navigator from Bentley. This is a 20-foot model. This particular model is called the 203. The 203 means that it's a tri-tune. If it was a 200, it would be a two-tube boat, but this particular one is a tri-tune. So what we're going to see with this boat is a lot of value components, a lot of features you get for the money. It's a really nice looking boat, and for those of you who are on a 20-foot restricted lake, this boat does title at 20 foot exactly. So a lot of pontoons are a little weird as far as how they title, but this particular one should be good to go on any 20-foot limit lakes. So let's take a look. So we're going to start on the bow. I like to talk about this because there's a couple of things that I really like in the way this was designed. This is a 20-foot boat. You're obviously trying to maximize the amount of space, but you also want to have a little bit of a lip up front so that people can enter and exit the boat pretty easily, but not too much. So I think it's the perfect amount of space where people can enter and exit the boat without having to lose too much space in the interior. The other thing I like is how clean this step area is. A lot of times there's like a light mounted here, or there's a cleat or something. The docking lights on this boat are actually mounted up on the fence, which is nice and out of the way. Your navigation light is mounted way over here, kind of in an area where you shouldn't be stepping very, very consistently. And then this one we opted to get the upgraded stainless steel pop-up cleats, which is always nice. You're not going to be stubbing your toe on it, and it's a nice heavy-duty stainless piece. Bentley does a good job having a rubber bumper on the extrusion all the way around the boat. A good fit and finish on that, so if you do bump into a dock, you're probably going to hit that bumper. I always like to point out also the nose cone from Bentley, which is 6 to 8 inches longer than a traditional nose cone, which means you have a little bit more bow float, keeps that bow up in the air a little bit. Also the little fin here has gotten like a nice finish piece. A lot of times that's a very sharp edge, and if kids are playing around the bow or something, a lot of times you can cut yourself on that. But Bentley finishes that off with a nice curved area. And then we'll talk about this throughout the boat, but the quality of the welds that Bentley puts together, everything's really seamless. A lot of times you can't really tell much about pontoons, but if you look at the welds and the quality of the welds, you can kind of tell the difference between a guy who knows what he's doing and one who doesn't. So there's actually a lot to talk about back here in the transom area, the Bentley 203. The first thing that's pretty cool is that this is a 20-foot pontoon, but they extend the rear deck almost about 1.5 feet. Almost make this deck seem like it's closer to a 22-foot than it is a 20-foot. This particular boat's opted for the nice heavy-duty stainless steel, 4-step ladder, which is, a very nice ladder for a boat at this price point. Again, stainless steel, heavy-duty hardware, nice, burly, big ski tow bar that's definitely out of the way. So if you're entering and exiting the boat, it's not kind of in the way of things, and the motor has plenty of trim clearance. This has got the 150 horsepower Mercury engine, which most pontoons in a 20-foot, even with a tri-tune, you're going to max out at either a 90 or a 115. This particular boat, they max out at 150, which is pretty important because this boat will actually fly with that 150. You could be seeing speeds with a light load up in the into the 40 mile an hour plus range, which is really, really awesome for a tri-tune pontoon. And one of the reasons how they're able to get that rating up, and also the person capacities we see inside the boat is actually higher than most, is how heavy-duty Bentley puts together and builds this boat. So they use in the last 6 feet of the boat, in the transom area where you have the most weight, they use a heavier duty 190 gauge aluminum, whereas a lot of companies are using a 120 gauge or a 125 gauge aluminum. So it's a heavier duty aluminum extrusion. There's more also when they bolt the boat together, there's typically kind of an H-channel thing where you actually have bolts on two sides, which is basically double the connection points that most other boats have. So again, a really, really heavy duty way that they put this thing together, good fit and finish, and overall a nice little transom area and a good usable space here. So as we move inside the Bentley 203 Navigator, what we're going to see in this configuration is quad 4 loungers. So you've got 2 loungers in the back, 2 loungers in the front, and also dual captain's chairs. So really maximizing the seating that you can get into a 20-foot boat. And the other thing I like to point out on these, just good design features like you've got the cutout cubbies here that is actually for cup holders or cell phones or whatever. It's actually cut out. You're not losing seating area by having those cut into the design. Little things like a courtesy light built in above the speaker, and then an attractive lower panel from the seat. And a lot of times these lower panels will actually kind of dive inward and it makes the seat kind of unsturdy if you sit right on the edge of it. But this one, I can scoot myself all the way to the edge, and you don't feel like the seat's going to flip up or pop up. So again, kind of a burly, heavy-duty design here, and just in general, just a nice, comfortable upholstery. It's a very, very nice upholstery for this type of price boat. One of the nicer sets of furniture I've seen. Really considering that this is more of a value-oriented boat, I think it really feels more like a mid to middle upper level boat. So as we move to the helm area, obviously that's a really important part of the boat. That's where the captain's going to be sitting, and I really like the helm on this 20-foot Navigator. It's a big helm. It's burly. It doesn't feel like kind of a little chintzy one like some of them do, in a smaller boat. It's got an adjustable height for the steering wheel. I've got plenty of leg room. I've got full instrumentation, fuel, mile per hour, RPM, and voltmeter. This particular little cubby storage in the middle, you can throw your cell phone into. You can opt from the factory, actually get it installed, a little GPS put in there if you like. I've got a couple cell phone charger, USBs, 12-volt outlet. Your stereo controls are right here. Your switches for your different things and power are all over here to the right. And then my throttle control is kind of off to the right here. It's conveniently located where it's not in a weird spot where I'm kind of using my arm and hitting my knee on it. It's really nice with this whole area over here that is just basically used for the throttle control. So good spacing utilization. And then we've got the captain's chair here. We also have the dual captain setup, which is unique for a 20-foot boat. A lot of times you don't see that on a 20-foot boat where you kind of have a captain co-captain setup, but that's definitely become more popular design in this boat. Last thing I'm going to talk about, which I do like, that we see kind of funneled down from some higher end brands. Instead of having like a cheap plexiglass little windshield, you just kind of have a nice clean visor here, so it just cleans up the look of the boat, makes the cover easier to put on and off, but just overall nice helm design, comfortable seat, good design here on the Bentley 203. So last thing we're going to talk about here is the bow seating area. Kind of mirrors the rear seating area, so if you start counting up where people can sit, there's plenty of seats for everybody. I believe this boat's rated at 14 persons, which is crazy for a 20-foot boat. To be honest, I don't even know if you can get 14 people on here unless you count a bunch of little kids, but you've got, one of the reasons for that is just the heavy-duty way that Bentley builds their boat, to get that extra capacity, get that higher horsepower rating. Kind of gives you a little bit of a peace of mind, but you can easily sit 3 people across sideways up in the bow like this, or one person wants to lay out. Even if I'm 6'2", I can lay out, my legs fully extended here in the bow. So again, comfortable seat. Everything's really nice about this boat. I didn't even point out little detail things like the black fencing and black bimini top, which is included on this boat to make it look a little sharper cosmetically, make it look like a really higher end boat. So overall, I'm really happy with the Bentley 200 or 203 Navigator. It gives a lot of value, a lot of seating, a lot of positive benefits for a 20-foot boat. We appreciate you checking out the video with us here at Buckeye Sports Center. For more information, to view our full inventory, go to buckeyesportscenter.com. If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube page. We're doing all kinds of different boat walkarounds from 14 different brands. So you'll see all kinds of different brands and different videos, and we really appreciate all the people around the country that do look at our videos, not just the ones in northeastern Ohio where we sell the boats, but everywhere around the country. So thanks again for watching.